It's the planet of the apps. I'm kind of, on the one hand, what a great name. And Apple's going to produce this. But on the other hand, I'm a little disappointed that they really are going with just a straight-ahead reality show format. It feels like that's not as innovative as it could be.
Yeah, especially when you look at how reality shows are produced, where they don't, they really are shaped by producers, or at least the understanding when you're watching them is that they didn't just simply pick, like, if this is if this is supposed to highlight the development of apps, they didn't pick like the 5 most promising apps. They decided they wanted to cast a role of, here is the socially demented nerd, here is the team that works well together, here is the husband and wife whose marriages might come apart as nerves are frazzled. Here's the 12-year-old wonder genius, and you know that, like, if this were America's Got Talent, you're like, it doesn't matter who they show in the next 11 weeks. You know that they picked the adorable 12-year-old girl who cries every time a judge says something nice about her singing. They know that they picked her to win.
Well, we love reality shows. I mean, the ratings are great. People love American Idol and The Voice and Survivor and on and on and on. Naked Dating or whatever it's called. But by the way, they may be naked, but you don't get to see it. I don't understand. What's the point? Okay. Oh, I'm kidding.
The point is scabs. You get to see scabs in all kinds of places, except for just 2 or 3.
So I guess this is going to be kind of like, I don't know, Shark Tank or Project Greenlight, where you've got 10 app developers and they try to convince the big shots that they've got the next big app, and then blah blah blah. Applicants must agree to have their app functional on iOS, macOS, tvOS, or watchOS by late October. If they're accepted onto the show, developers will receive guidance from tech experts. Potential fund.
I think they need to be in front of all of us.
Potential funding from VCs of up to $10 million in promotion in Apple's iOS store. So there's an open casting call. It will be filming later this year. Daniel, are you gonna try out?
I wanted to be the Tim Gunn of this show. I thought that would be more appropriate.
Yeah,
we want to be judges.
I have nothing against reality shows, but I just feel like it's, as you say, Andy, it's going to be archetypes, but it's also inevitably going to be misrepresenting the real process.
Of course.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, what have we been talking about for this whole first segment of the show? Frustrations with the App Store, with, we haven't gotten into frustrations with submissions and app rejections.
Yeah.
But this defines what it means to be a developer on Apple platforms in many ways these days. And even apart from that, like, if Apple's paying for the show, you're not either going to even have things like frustrations with, like, the inscrutability of an API.
Or you'll never hear about that.
So all the kind of stuff that might make for natural drama in a show that's like about something that's kind of hard to jazz up, I think, software development. But
people
the natural
typing.
drama,
Yay.
the natural drama would be dealing with problems that Apple doesn't really want to put the spotlight on. So
no, and that's my concern. It's just really just going to be a great big ad for Apple. And how great it is, and oh my God, you've won the jackpot. You're going to be the next WhatsApp, and that's really, I think, not the message that should be, that kids especially who are thinking of this as a career should be.
Yeah,
this is going to misrepresent it.
I had an idea for Apple's, why would Apple choose to do this show of all shows? And Apple is sort of like so many tech companies, just famously troubled by recruiting, right? Trying to find employees.
This is how you find talent.
They're going to have a roster of ambitious, probably not all of them talented, but they're going to have a pretty good dossier here of people who are willing to really, I guess, fight for being a developer, fight for building great apps. And then Apple being the one in charge of all this, I guess they can just come swoop in and say, hey, regardless of whether you got on the show or whether you won the show, how'd you like to come interview for this position? So,
that's a really good point, Daniel. That may be the real reward.
I mean,
a job at Apple.
Yeah.
Forget that.
I don't know. I mean, how much trouble are they having attracting talent as it is?
Daniel, by the way, we didn't mention this, but you were you worked at Apple. You were a developer at Apple.
I was, yeah, starting in 1995 through 2002. So I've been out of Apple for much longer than I ever worked there, but I do have some experience with the company, and of course it's fueled my interest over the last.
Yeah, and you were there at the rebirth. What did you work on?
I worked on System 7, System 8, and then I jumped ship from the System 7 team and went to work on very early OS 10 stuff.
Wow.
And the stuff I was working on was always really low level stuff, usually stuff with no graphics interface, So stuff on System 7, I worked on stuff like the process manager. And then I switched over to OS 10 and worked on stuff like the code fragment manager, which was the the thing that loads the code literally from disk to make an app run. So it was real low level, real nerdy stuff. But yeah, it was an experience, and to be there at that time, I was hired. I was actually hired as a full-time employee in 1996, a few months before Steve Jobs came back.
Wow.
So it was really quite a time to be there. And people talk about it a lot these days, but that was the time when, wow, the folks who were at Apple then and stuck around, that was like a time to really believe in the company, because everybody was leaving to go to companies that, conventional wisdom would say had a shot in the world. And Apple was at the bottom of that list for almost everybody, including many people, many of us who were in the company, I think, still thought it was a long shot, but we couldn't find anything better to work on. So it was exciting to be there. And I'm really proud of Apple for, making it as far back as they have. And now my only complaint is that they're so powerful that, I certainly have no ability to rein in that power. So see how far they go, I guess.